must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Mi naitwa Brenda Cherotich na niko 26 years old. So I was the first patient to be confirmed with COVID-19, which is hiyo ndio disease caused by coronavirus. So I came out to the Ministry of Health and I let them know that I was concerned because I had shown symptoms of COVID-19. Na hakuna mtu alini pressure like go forward. Ni mimi tu niliamua as a responsible Kenyan nifanye nione as in juni kazi yangu as a responsible Kenyan kukuja mbele na kuambia government, I think this is what is happening and you might have to test me. Na niko happy because waliamua kunitake seriously, wakanitest and that's when wakapata niko positive. So after wakanipata niko positive, walinipea treatment, walini support sana, and I'm just niko very thankful to all of them for what they did. Kitu nataka kuwashow ni kuwa hii kitu ni manageable na ni treatable. If you think you have it, don't be afraid. Usiogope ati watu watasema nini or that ati watu watani stigmatize. Hiyo ni kitu tu, it's something that ni normal. It happens to anyone and unaweza contract. It doesn't matter, unaweza kwa young, you can contract it. You can also be a child and you can be an older person. Hii kitu ni ya anyone. It doesn't discriminate. I discriminate based on age, ati when, how many years, or gender ama ethnicity. Hii kitu ni ya kila mtu, but because we are really trying to fight hii coronavirus, it's also part of your responsibility kama Mkenya ukwe responsible na ukuje out with your story. Because mmeona mimi niko confident with my story, right? Sijaogopa anything. So that's what I would like to tell you guys now, because najua kuna patients sahi wana receive treatment and they wanaweza kuwa a little overwhelmed. Najua it's normal, it happens to every patient. Nataka tu kuambia stay strong because the doctors wanajua what they are doing. Unaweza fikiria they don't know, but they know what they are doing. They're constantly talking on video conferences, on phones na experts from other parts of the world. Unafaa tu kuwa trust and be positive. And thank you to everyone mwenye ameni support through this journey, and also for the CS pia yamekuwa very supportive, and I would just like to tell anyone, stigmatize anyone, don't kabisa, and be strong.
So I want to tell you guys,
whoever heeds discipline shows the way to life, but whoever ignores correction leads others astray. That is in the Bible, Proverbs 10:17. The reason I am quoting this verse, fellow Kenyans, is because the figures that we are hearing today are a clear demonstration that things are not getting better. And people who are telling others that things are better are lying to them. And somehow, somewhere along the line, we seem to have come to the conclusion as a society that things have gone back to normal. Today's figures show things are far, far from normal. Things are very challenging. And those who are exhibiting the indiscipline that I've referred to, leading others astray, are becoming a common phenomenon.
The government of the Republic of Kenya has made efforts, concerted guidelines, and put it out to the public of the Republic of Kenya and the citizens of Kenya. Looking at the trend of what is happening and the events that are shaping around the modeling and the sample modeling of and a comparison with other states in the world. Globally, Kenya has done very well. But there seems to be a culture of sliding back, a culture where people want to go back to their old habits. What destroys such an exercise? What brings it to a situation where people need to understand that it is not gone yet, it is here. The virus is here, is with us, is an invisible enemy. An invisible enemy for the people of Kenya to understand that they must help themselves, not help the government, but help themselves to fight the enemy. If we don't unite to fight the enemy, if we slide back to our habits, our behaviors, our eating pattern, our socializing pattern, our praying pattern, our stigma, fear, complacency, impunity, these are the things that are letting down Kenya and most of the parts of Africa. It is therefore my opinion, and our opinion, and the opinion of many other people who are at the forefront in fighting this disease, that the people of Kenya stand firm against the few individuals who are violating the regulations, the guidelines, the restrictions that the government has put in place. Your failure to agree or to abide by these regulations might force the government to take more drastic measures that we might not know because we are not part and parcel of the government. But as the media, we sound what the government has said. Failure to adhere to these principles and guidelines could increase the multiplication or multiply the disease, reproduce the disease in the community. The cases of Eastleigh, the cases of Mombasa, Majengo, where people still eat food in one common place as if they don't know what social distancing is. Such acts, barbaric acts, when you have been actually given the guidelines that this disease enjoys where there is company of being together, that this disease kills when you shake hands, that this disease kills when you cough without covering your arm, with the arm, that this disease can kill if you sit in a car with a person who is either a silent carrier, a passive carrier, or an active carrier. It is up to you, the people and the citizens of the country of Kenya, to adhere to Mutahi Kagwe, to listen to the Minister of Health. The cries are not very far. We know the situation might be difficult, and many people are talking of returning to work. I can see many cars in Nairobi streets, plenty of them coming back and the traffic jam building up, which is a sign that people have returned again to work. But is it the time to do so? It is up to you as a citizen. The legacy trend, therefore, myself and other people want to call upon you to desist, to deny these few people who break the curfew, who drink in estates, who break the restrictions, who ferry people, who sleep locked up in a house of about 50 people, who eat badly, who fail to wash hands, that there is no room for complacency because virus COVID-19 does not choose whom to attack, does not tell you how to attack. It attacks you when you fail to listen to the instructions and the guidelines that the government of the Republic of Kenya has put in place. God bless Kenya.
My name is Bishop Dr. John Warari. I come to you to give you hope. 80% of those who have the infection are recovering. So we must not lose hope. Follow the instructions of the Ministry of Health. Simple instructions. 1, we have been told to sanitize, to clean our hands as often as possible. As you wash your hands, do it for about 20 seconds. That one will keep away and destroy the virus that could have been in your hands. It is important for us not to use our hands in greeting each other. For more information, kindly dial 719 and you will get help, or you can go to your phone and press *719# and you will get more information. Komesha Corona.
When President Uhuru Kenyatta thought of a nation, a peaceful nation, a united nation called Kenya, he scored highly to the international community and to Kenyans. When the former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga thought of a nation called Kenya, he scored highly. It is that redemption strategy, the coming together of opposition and the government, the president and the former opposition leader, or the opposition leader of Kenya, that has made Kenya peaceful, united, working together to date. It is therefore very important for the people of Kenya to realize that the most important thing that every African looks at when talking about Kenya is peace. But what kills Kenya is tribal enclaves, bad elections, bad electoral mechanisms, bad political morals. People lack political morals. People lack good electoral mechanisms. People think of tribes. It is not the poor, it is not the rich, it is not the destiny, it is not the hustler nation. No. Those have been there for many times, many years. But what has killed the country is that those one key thing, elections. If Kenya can sort out its electoral mechanism, that a winning candidate embraces a losing candidate, and a losing candidate embraces a winning candidate. You work together as a nation, work together as a people of Kenya. That's the day that Kenya will rise and become a very good country, beyond what it is today. But the moment we go back to our tribal enclaves, we poison the politics. We play Machiavellian politics of backstabbing, intrigue, manipulation, machinations that flow in the Kenyan political arena. It's the moment that we destroy the same nation that needs that unity. President Uhuru Kenyatta, therefore, don't give up. Former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga, don't give up on unity or purpose. Always strive to unite, leave a legacy of a united Kenya. That is the price you will give to the generations, the grandchildren, to your generations that will come. You might not be there to see the price that you have, the foundation you have laid. But once you leave that legacy of a united, peaceful Kenya, both of you and many other leaders in Kenya should not give up in search for that unity. I thank you very much. Those are my views. I believe a redemption strategy, and I repeat, a redemption strategy, the healing, reconciliation, reparation, accountability, truth-telling, those are the values of the handshake, a united Kenya with capacity to accommodate all. Thank you. Thank you, listeners.
Mimi naitwa Eliud Biu. Mimi ndio mwenyekiti wa Kamukunji Jua Kali Association. Nataka kusema kwamba hii ugonjwa wa coronavirus ni ugonjwa ambao uko na unashika kila mtu ambaye anaweza kuwa in contact na mtu mwingine ambaye ako nao ama amegusa kitu ambacho kimeguswa na mtu ambaye ako nayo.
Let us wash our hands. Let us keep the social distance given, at least 1 meter away from one another. Let us avoid all gatherings, unnecessary gatherings. People believe that sanitizer is the main thing to fight the scourge. Let us just use the soap we have at home, even the bar soaps. So long as we maintain the cleanliness that is required, we are going to fight this.
Ili tubambane na hii ugonjwa ni lazima unawe. Hiyo ndio sababu kama sekta tumeweka hizi mtungi kila mahali ya kunawisa mkono. Na tena tunasema ya kwamba ukiwa unafanya kazi hapa, ama wewe ni customer, ama wewe ni mpita njia, ukikuja lazima unawe. Hiyo ndio kusaidia na ndio kukinga hii ugonjwa.
Hii mitungi ya kunawia mikono, mebasi wetu walichukua jukumu, wanatengeneza hizi mitungi na wanauza kwa bei nafuu, kwa sababu wanapotengeneza hii mitungi sio biashara tu ama pesa tunatafuta. Tunatafuta kwamba hii mitungi iweze kufikia kila mtu, ndio watu waweze kunawa mikono na waweze kujikinga na hii ugonjwa. Si serikali ambayo inaweza kutusaidia peke yake, ni sisi wenyewe pia tusaidiane kwa kufuatilia ile mambo ambayo tunaambiwa na serikali.
For more information, please dial 719 or *719#. You'll get help immediately from the relevant authorities, particularly from the Ministry of Health.
Pamoja tukomeze corona.
Thank you very much, viewers. The situation in Kenya demands that if you are in leadership of the ruling party and you are either the leader of majority or the deputy leader of majority or the chief whip of the majority, seconded there and seconded by the party, to pay loyalty to the party and the party leadership. The moment you reach the parliament and turn against, everywhere, all over the world, all over the globe, democracy dictates that you have to surrender the whip, or you are whipped by the party. The whip comes down on you. They remove all the caveats on you. You remain either a freelancer, an independent person, or a backbencher. It is very, very important in democracy that Socrates, Aristotle, Plato, and the others put forward these theories. You cannot remain in the party, eat the party, then come back to eat yourself, then eat the leadership and eat the policies of the party. Otherwise, there would be no democracy or multi-party democracy in the world. It is so, therefore, very important for President Uhuru Kenyatta to assert authority of the party using the party organs and instruments and the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya to stop the situation that is dividing the Kenyans. The Kenyans are being divided. Those who don't want the handshake, those who did not want the peace, the peace that Kenyans are enjoying, should say so and pack and ship. If you don't want the policies of the same party, you can as well resign and declare your interests. But the very fact that you are in leadership and then you begin at the same time in the world, you begin on several occasions to belittle the president, to belittle his policies, to fight against him when he talks about corruption, to make sure that he is laughed at by the entire country, then who are you representing in the Senate or in the Parliament? Time has come for sure parties to address this issue of discipline of their members, and equally let the parties also discipline themselves in a crisis that can come up anytime. Thank you very much. That's our comment of this morning. We want to urge you, President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, to take responsibility and assert authority over Jubilee Party, govern the country, lead the programs, make the workable solutions for all the people of Kenya who are suffering under COVID-19, give direction instead of having side shows and a shadow boxing that is being brought by members who could be and who can be disciplined by the party organs. Thank you.
From the Ministry of Health and working under National Public Health Labs. Today we are visiting the quarantine sites within Nairobi, and the teams are being dispatched out to go and visit the sites. We have the forms which we are going to use to capture the information of the visitors who came from in the country. And we also have the sample collection apparatus, which we have the oropharyngeal swabs and the nasal swabs. And each person is supposed to be taken the two samples, the nasal swab and the oropharyngeal swab. We have our PPEs to protect ourselves. We have the safety gears where we are having this, and the disinfection for disinfecting the apparatus which we are going to use. The waste, we have the biohazard bags where we are going to put all the waste which is generated within the site where we are collecting the specimen. We have the biohazard bags to safeguard the environment. And with us, we have the transport media, because we have to make sure that the samples which we are going to carry, they are if the virus is there, they are viable. So we have the transport media which we are carrying with us, and we are maintaining the cold chain, because we have the cool box which is equipped with the ice packs to maintain the cold chain of the virus of the samples as we come back. To my fellow Kenyans, I have a word for you today. Kindly stay at home. I am at work to safeguard the environment and to safeguard ourselves. The corona is real. It is real with us. So please let us stay at home as the health workers continue working and supporting the government or the guidelines which they have been put on place.
Today marks a great day for me. For us in Pan-African Forum UK Limited, stand above the threats, intimidation, blackmailing that people receive, so as not to speak about what is happening in Somalia. The matter of the Somali link or Somalia link with Qatar must be discussed openly by countries that are taking part in Somalia. The pacification of Somalia, for Somalia to become a state again, there is need for cooperation. The cooperation to bring about peace is more important than the cooperation of countries that are seeking minerals, diamonds, gold, oil, skins, animals, and the rest from Somalia. My organization does not have a share, neither is it seeking to get anything, but to have Somalia and protect the Ugandan and the Kenyan troops, plus Burundian troops, that have gone to do a good job in Somalia. Every time we hear reports of money laundering, some people think it is difficult to find out who has laundered which money, where and how. For us in Pan-African Forum UK Limited, we have networks that have exposed even the ICC before, and we have brought it to its knees for this type of money laundering. Qatar has become the main funder of terrorism in the world. We can now safely agree and safely agree to the people, the countries, especially those countries like Saudi Arabia, that said Qatar is a terrorist organization. It's not a country. Qatar is funding terrorist activities, coming in as economic saviors of some countries in Africa, while they are sponsoring terror groups that are expanding on the coastal line of the Indian Ocean up to Mozambique. It is therefore my duty as an African and us as Africans to point out these mistakes such that the people can take these mistakes, correct them, and point out to Qatar to stop funding terror activities. 2, it is also very important for the people of Kenya to know that Al-Shabaab, Eritrea, Ethiopia are trading out a deal that will leave Kenya and Uganda in a mess. It is important that Farimajo should not lie to you that he is not having these deals or these negotiations are not taking place. We have evidence, concrete in black and white, of these meetings that are taking place on a daily basis in one of the capitals of the world called Doha and Asmara. These meetings have been taking place and they are taking place, and that is why the United Nations Security Council failed to condemn Al-Shabaab as a terrorist group. One would wonder why condemn the Taliban, why condemn Boko Haram, but failed to condemn Al-Shabaab, which has killed us Kenyans, killed us Ugandans, killed Somalis in hundreds and hundreds. Why? 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 Can a government of Farimajo guarantee our peace? The shooting down of a plane commandeered by Ethiopians who are guarding the ground at the flower, who were told the plane had a humanitarian agency, is very dangerous. There is no diplomacy here. The truth must prevail. Ethiopia should stop engaging itself in activities that are going to create hegemony of the what's hegemony in the region. Thank you very much. God bless all of you. God bless Africa. God bless the Pearl of Africa. God bless Kenya. Keep our troops in Kismayo. Give them strength. Our troops in Mogadishu. Give them strength. We shall, tomorrow or days to come, talk to the owner of the plane that was brought down. We are going to expose all this. We have evidence. It's not local, it is inside. We know what happens and we know what is taking place. Farimajo, Hassan Hari have become axes of evil. Thank you.
Ni vipi tutaepuka ili janga la korona, maana kote duniani linazidi kusambaa, ni wengi wametuacha.
Yo guys, it's your boy DJ Euphoric here. So sad coronavirus is here with us. Na sisi wase tunaishi na disability, we have to make sure maze to protect ourselves. Clean your assistive devices, especially those parts that zina come in contact with your body, kama armrests, brakes and wheel rims. Disinfect using the approved disinfectants from the Ministry of Health.
Sanitize, osha vizuri mikono yako. Quarantine and it's gonna be alright.
Hi, my name is Christine Enrico. I'm a mother to Elsa Wanjiko. Elsa Wanjiko has a special need. She has cerebral palsy. During this time of COVID-19, everybody is feeling anxious and fearful. As a mother of child with special need, I'd like to encourage all mothers and caregivers that we follow the government directives of wearing a mask every time we leave our houses, wash our hands with clean running water, we sanitize our hands and also sanitize the equipment that our child uses, like the wheelchair, whenever we want to take them out. And whenever we want to take our children out for a walk, we should put them on mask and also put ourselves on mask. Stay safe. Komesha corona.
Hi guys, my name is Maureen Dinda, and amidst this coronavirus pandemic, I'd like to urge everyone, including people with disabilities, to always wear masks in public and to maintain social distancing and use of sanitizers. To the people with albinism, I'd like to tell you that use of sanitizers has no effect or harm on your skin, so don't get afraid. Stay at home, stay safe. Komesha corona.
Niaje watu wangu wa nguvu, hapa mimi naitwa Deno. Ningependa kuwashow kwamba corona si mzaha. Corona iko bana. Corona iko kwa neighborhood. Manze jaribu kaa home. Na kama iwezekani lazima utoke nje kama mimi. Make sure uko kwa mask. Make sure una wear hiyo mask kila mahali. Kwanza sana ukiwa in a public place. Make sure uko kwa mask vizuri sana. Na kama unatumia guide kama mimi, make sure umemhold hapa kwa shoulder, kwa sababu huwezi mhold kwa elbow, kwa sababu hapo ndipo tunatumia ku sneeze. Sasa make sure that ume stay safe, make sure that ume sanitize. Corona ni real manze, cheza clean.
Tuepuke makundi, sura sishiki misi na budi, tusisambaze hivi virusi.
Hello friends, my name is Ben. I'd like to urge my friends, especially the deaf community, that we follow the guidelines given by the government in these times of corona. Don't forget, wash your hands with clean running water. Also, use masks when in public. If you don't have water, make sure you sanitize your hands. Also, keep social distance. Together, we can win corona. Stay safe, stay at home.
Epuka corona. Sanitize, osha vizuri mikono yako. Quarantine and it's gonna be alright. Sanitize, osha vizuri mikono yako. Quarantine and it's gonna be alright.
Mimi naitwa Brenda Cherotich. Now niko 26 years old. So I was the first patient to be confirmed with COVID-19, which is hiyo ndio disease caused by coronavirus. So I came out to the Ministry of Health, and I let them know that I was concerned because I had shown symptoms of COVID-19. Na hakuna mtu alini pressure like go forward. Ni mimi tu niliamua as a responsible Kenyan nifanye nione as in juni kazi yangu as a responsible Kenyan kukuja mbele na kuambia government, I think this is what is happening and you might have to test me. Na niko happy because waliamua kunitake seriously, wakanitest, and that's when wakapata niko positive. So after wakanipata niko positive, walinipea treatment, walini support sana, and niko very thankful to all of them for what they did. Kitu nataka kuwashow ni kuwa hii kitu ni manageable na ni treatable. If you think you have it, don't be afraid. Usiogope ati watu watasema nini, or that ati watu watani stigmatize. Hiyo ni kitu tu, it's something that ni normal. It happens to anyone and unaweza contract. It doesn't matter, unaweza kwa young, you can contract it. You can also be a child and you can be an older person. Hii kitu ni ya anyone. It doesn't discriminate. I discriminate based on age, ati when, how many years, or gender ama ethnicity. Hii kitu ni ya kila mtu, but because we are really trying to fight hii coronavirus, it's also part of your responsibility kama Mkenya ukwe responsible na ukuje out with your story. Because umeona mimi niko confident with my story, right? Sijaogopa anything. So that's what I would like to tell you guys now, because najua kuna patients sahi wana receive treatment and wanaweza kuwa a little overwhelmed. Najua it's normal, it happens to every patient. nataka tu kuambia stay strong because the doctors wanajua what they are doing. Unaweza fikiria they don't know, but they know what they are doing. They're constantly wako talking on video conferences, on phones na experts from other parts of the world. Unafaa tu kuwa trust and be positive. And thank you to everyone mwenye ameni support through this journey, and also for the CS pia yamekuwa very supportive, and I would just like to tell anyone, msistigmatize anyone, don't kabisa, and be strong.
So I want to tell Greta.
Fellow Africans, since 1957, when Ghana gained independence, there has been quite a lot of political, social, economic indicators on the African continent that show that Africa has progressed from pre-independence Africa to post-independence Africa.
Ghana, your beloved country, is free forever. From now on, there is a new African in the world. That new African is ready to fight his own battle and show that after all, the black man is capable of managing his own affairs.
66 years down the road, Africa finds itself with the first country, Ghana, having gained independence. We find ourselves still locked up, controlled, manipulated, instructed, logistically supplied, equipped by foreign powers that dictate our agenda. Africa is endowed with plenty of minerals, resources, good weather. The climate is so favorable for the growth of food enough to sustain us. But we find ourselves in countries where hunger is killing people. Hunger is killing people because most of the people have taken to arms to fight wars, conflicts. Starvation has taken the place of development. In most African countries like Sudan, South Sudan, Central African Republic, Cameroon, Nigeria, in Biafra, and north of Nigeria there is Boko Haram, Somalia in the Horn of East Africa. We have taken to conflict instead of development. Development was the key indicator. When Kwame Nkrumah made the first speech that seek ye African political unity, economic development will come automatically, he was right. The events happening in Libya today vindicates Nkrumah, vindicates Nyerere, Sekou Toure, and NASA, the founding fathers of our Pan-Africanism. The events happening in Central African Republic, in Congo today, as the war of rebels ranges on between the rebel and the rebels and the government and the government, and the rebels vindicates the founding fathers of this revolution. Our independence, therefore, was only on paper. Our independence, therefore, was only in symbols. Our independence also was in signs. Our independence also was in boundaries. That we received our flags, but we never received full independence as by the word independence. Most of the 3/4 of African countries, French-speaking countries, have their budgets being done in Paris. Is that independence? The Paris government or the French government does its budget based on how much they will get from African countries. Is that independence? Is this the Africa that you want? Is it the Africa that we must look at? Is it the Africa that we shall leave for the future generation? If the answer to you is yes, then so be it. But if the answer is no, you agree with me that this is not the Africa we want to leave for the future generation. Our generations and the future generation need to find a legacy. What is the legacy that Africa and African Union will leave for the future generation? The wars ranging in Libya, in South Sudan, in Khartoum, in Mogadishu, in DRC Congo, in Amazonia, in Cameroon, Boko Haram, Mali, in Mauritania, the uprisings in Algeria, all point to one thing, that yes, we are not yet independent. We are still controlled by external forces. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Eva Jenga. I'm the chair of the Kenya Medical and Dentist Council. Today we came here with a team from the Ministry of Health and from the Kenya Medical Council, as well as from the Kenya Medical and Dentist Union. We are here to represent the government on a task to come and verify the quality of the PPEs that are being made by Shona. Shona is one of the local manufacturers that have been identified to most likely will be able to produce the PPEs en masse for this country, which we need so badly. And today our task was to come and see the quality and also the capability of the output and the turnaround of production of these PPEs. We have come and seen the type of masks that they are making, a full PPE where we have the coverall with the boots.
Today, thousands and thousands of Africans and many countries in Africa have conflicts. Notably, from Libya, Cameroon, Nigeria, Biafra, and the Boko Haram, to Democratic Republic of Congo, of where we have seen a resurgence of the past military and conflicts coming back in that country. Hundreds and hundreds of people have been displaced, killed, maimed, tortured, raped, several of them dying of hunger, starvation, and other natural causes. The fighting seems not to be ending. For the sake of Libya, the Libyan recognized international government is under siege in Tripoli from another faction recognized by Egypt, France, UAE, and other countries. Whereas the one in Tripoli is recognized by the UN, it has been bombarded, has been strangulated, and many millions of Libyans are dying of hunger, lack of water. The water system has been cut off. The bombardment goes on. In Democratic Republic of Congo, we've seen more of active rebel activities returning to the region after some silence has been observed. When we come to Cameroon, we see millions and millions of Amazonians slaughtered. Yet, when you come to Biafra, again millions and hundreds of millions and millions are worried, displaced, tortured by the Buhari regime. Yet again in the north, we see Boko Haram killing, maiming, abducting and burning down villages in the same Nigeria. When you cross over to Central African Republic, the same is the history.
Good morning to you, and thank you for joining us. This is Africa Business, and of course today is a very special day here in Kenya, and a very important day, if I might add. And the government of Kenya, through the Ministry of Treasury, Mr. Ukur Yatani, is meant to be reading Kenya's budget today, and also I think also other East African countries are having their budgets read today, because there is an agreement. They have their budgets read in the same day, except that the budget reading for this year is going to be a bit different. We're not going to have a full parliament because of the COVID-19, and so Ukur Yatani is preparing to read his first budget as the Treasury CS, and this is going to be a very interesting occasion. Usually it's usually accompanied by pomp and color and all that. I'm sure that is not going to be the case today. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Miriam Mugutu, and on the other side we have Dr. David Matsanga. Doctor, a very good morning to you.
Morning, Africa, wherever you are. This is Africa Business, all the way from the command center of Punchline Africa Television. Thank you.
All right, and on the other side we have Daniel Wesonga. Daniel, good morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Miriam, Dr. Matsanga, and of course our esteemed viewers across the country and the continent of Africa.
All right, thank you so much. So just before we get into what we're expecting today in the budget, I don't know, what are your personal expectations? Doctor, if you can start with you.
Stringent measures, tightening belts, unemployment is going to be massive. Prices will go up as a result of international global trends. Global trends will affect the local trends. Manufacturing index expansion will be low. Commodities will be few. China will emerge. More fabricated, duplicated, what are they called? The goods that are, there's a word for it, I've forgotten it. The goods that resemble each other.
The fake ones.
There's a word.
Counterfeit.
Counterfeit, yes. We are going to see huge counterfeits produced either under license. Trade between the countries will go down, the incomes, the taxation, everything is going to change. Rent, mortgage repayments, fallback, auctioneering, people being auctioned, companies going bankrupt, closing up, and above all, in this budget, we expect to cater for empty buildings because people have found new offices through Zoom. Zoom, we are working. Where Songa is working, you are working. Who is going to hire a building for what? Nobody wants to hire the whole floor, 10 floors to put my company. That's my company. No. Company is now on laptop, iPad, on phone. More internet and more ICT. Whoever knows ICT now is going to be on the market. people are not going to be meeting, less meetings, less expenditure, a renewal of sewing up, networking, making sure that the fiber reaches everywhere. In fact, this budget will give support to telecom and telecommunication systems that will be encouraged to do quite a lot in networking with the people. I think that is exactly, but tightening the ropes, tightening our belts, pulling up our socks, and above all, this budget must cater for chaos. What is it called?
Pandemic.
Chaos will be everywhere. There will be chaos, not in a bad form, but over institutions will be over what? Crowded. For example, the London train. The people in the London train now, carefulness, change of everything. It has to cater for all this. The hospitals will never be the same. So the government has to look for money somewhere to service, even above all. When you talk about this budget, Mr. Ekuru, not Ekuru.
Mr. Yatani.
Etan must tell us whether we are paying China or not. We shall see in his budget how much money has he put forward to service the loans. SGR. Miriam, there is something that struck me yesterday. And I want to tell you what it is. China is supporting Djibouti. Can you believe this? China is supporting Djibouti, and China is going to vote for Djibouti, encouraging Djibouti to take the seat. That's why next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, we are in chaos.
But doctor, before you get there, the expectation.
No, yes. I had forgotten that. Because when I mentioned China, next week it will be business. But why I'm saying that, why is China doing this? It's still business, African business, because they have got stakes in Djibouti. They want to sell their products, build the roads, build the ports. So there will be changes, but I wanted to mention that it's not connected with the budget. But it is very annoying for me that after all, we have struggled to pay it, we are paying China. What went wrong for us? Why did we take these huge amounts? Now we can see the very friend who gave us the money is not going to help us even to get the money to pay back. That's all my observation.
All right, Daniel Wesonga, good morning, I think. What is the expectation on today's budget?
Yes, good morning, Miriam. And I'll just go straight to the point. I guess the pandemic has led to massive job losses. And of course, right now there's a slowdown in economic activities and increased expenditure in the health sector. And also, when you look at it critically, there's a reduced revenue collections. So perhaps my expectation is that today the budget, the budget that is going to be read by Ukur Yatani, I expect to hear how the budget is going to empower the Kenyan people after the virus, because right now the situation is quite tight. We need to see on measures that will be able to oversee the small market enterprises back again and picking up we need to have fiscal policies that will enable that these more than 700,000 people that have lost their jobs up again and can find something to make a livelihood for themselves. So, of course, those are just some of the things that I expect. And also on taxation, I believe that now the government has to come up with a new policy that is different from what we had before the coronavirus pandemic in order to meet its revenue collection, as well as also just make sure that the Mwananchi does not feel a pinch in the process.
All right, thank you so much. So today, Treasury will unveil a raft of taxes to fund the 2.7 billion Kenya shillings budget as the government tries to revive the economy while keeping its lights on. So this year's economy, budget is pegged on 2.7. Not, did I say billion? No, it is 2.7 trillion Kenya shillings. Oh my goodness. And Kenyans will know whether Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani will drop his plans to reintroduce tax measures that will drive up the cost of basic commodities, including bread, cooking gas, and clean energy stoves. So these are things that are basic but very important and vital commodities. We look at bread, we look at cooking gas, we look at clean energy stoves. So reintroducing tax measures will drive up the cost of these basic commodities. So as much as we saw the other time that the tax was reduced from 16% to 14%. So if they're introduced, then that means the prices will go up. And the government has been encouraging people to use more LPG so that we get away from the charcoal and all that because of environmental issues, and we adopt clean energy. So if the prices go up by 14%, of course this will affect the pricing of LPG. And right now they are a bit high, but that is because of the international market. So maybe there's nothing much we can do about it. But would this not contradict government efforts to encourage people to be using more clean energy if the prices of LPG LPG goes up?
Yes, of course, some of these commodities are what we call in economics as goods that have inelastic demand. And whenever you touch some of these goods, like oil, like cooking gas and all and such, and such like commodities, it directly affects the consumer, and that means that the consumer will have to dig deeper into their pockets to make both ends meet. So perhaps now we expect that the CS will revise his budget policy statement that he shared back in February, and just to make sure that the common Mwananchi does not feel the heat as much, because of course right now, Miriam, everyone is struggling to make their end meet. We have people who are not getting their full salaries. We have people who are on unpaid leave. We have businesses that are struggling to get customers to buy their goods. So really, it's something that needs to be checked, and to ensure that no one feels that maybe the heavy hand of taxation is really pressing them down.
All right, and of course we know that the government's revenue collection has been affected so much. You remember earlier on when the pandemic started in Kenya, the first thing that President Uhuru Kenyatta did after meeting with those financial institutions is sitting down and saying, Kenyans who earn from 24,000 and below, they will not be remitting their taxes. So just to ease them on the burden that has been brought forth by COVID-19. So that means that the government, on the other hand, lost in terms of its revenue collection. And we see this 2.7 trillion budget that Yatani is set to present this afternoon in Parliament. And from that, there will be a budget deficit of 835.9 billion Kenya shillings, which can all be financed, of course, through adding more debt, through borrowing. So what is the delicate balance that the government has to have right now, seeing that we already have so much debt that we are servicing as a country, and that has been affected because of COVID-19, and also the government, these measures that it took to cushion Kenyans in return denied the government itself the taxes. Remember, the basic commodity taxes that was removed from 16 to 14%. That affected, because that goes to the government, and now for a couple of months now it has not been receiving that. We see the deficit here. How can the government bridge this gap outside of an added debt? And as we wait there, I think we're having a connection problem there with Daniel as we wait for him. So I don't know if Dr. Matanga is there also.
Come in, yes.
Right.
I'll come in on that one.
Okay.
It could be very tricky for us, but let me come in. I'm not an economist, but I will tell you what we can do. Slash the cabinet to 90 people. Yes. President Uhuru Kenyatta should slash his entire cabinet. Mix up, recollected all these ministries into one ministry. We can have PSs in ministries, many PS and a few gazolas. These gazola people, the flags. Remain with essential ministries only. Health, foreign affairs, internal affairs, land, education. Ingine hii, hapana. Mix them. Agriculture, get agriculture, water, minerals, and agriculture, water, fisheries, veterinary. Wake up pamoja. That's one ministry. You cut gazola. This. My dear, the life is going to be very complicated. So leaders in Africa must think fast. Because we are talking here business in Africa though. And now we are singling out Kenya as a case study. An area where you find you need to cut down to red tape. There are too many Miriam. If there is Madaraka Day, simama uangalie zile magari zenye zinakunywa petrol. What? And it takes it while you are hearing. That's your money. So the president can save Kenyans by cutting down the size of the cabinet to about 11. Key ministries, defense, foreign affairs, education, sports, because Kenya earns a lot from sports. Tourism, leave it. Let it come under Ministry of Tourism and the cooperatives. Tourism and something else. Finance, you can count them if you amalgamate them. For example, you tell me what the Minister of Devolution does. What does it do? Governors can be under the Ministry of under the presidency, Ministry of Presidency. You make the governors can be there, special unit, and you run the 2 years very smoothly. Cut down. We have to cut down some of these things that take money, so that we can inject money in the police, in the army, in the security agencies that are going to keep law and order. Remember Africa to come in a year, 2 years to come, after COVID-19 becomes a pandemic, not a pandemic, becomes endemic. It will become endemic. This thing we are going to live with it in our houses, man. Cough and we pass. It's going to be there, isn't it? It's going to remain. It could remain a normal cough, where a songa will not be bothering who is coughing. But at the moment now, if you are in a church and then a lady or a man starts choop, 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 everybody would like to see where is it coming from. So we have to prepare our economy. We have to cut down on the size of government. I think, do I answer your question?
All right, thank you so much there. Daniel, I don't know if you're back. We were having a problem with your signal. Are you back? Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, Miriam. Sorry, I had a technical issue with my connection, but I'm currently back.
Yes,
and I think
just on what Doctor has just said, and the proposal is making, they're reducing the ministry and cut the number of ministries and ministers here in Kenya, and cutting down. And we see Yatani is expected to read a 2.7 trillion budget this afternoon, and the deficit there as it stands right now is 835.9 billion Kenya shillings there. Will reducing the ministries and the ministers, as Dr. there is proposing, will it go a long way in filling up, and how much will that be? I wish we would have done that arithmetic before you came here. We would have seen how much would that save us, if at all that would have been possible. But will that, outside of that, what else can the government do to meet this deficit that is staring at the Ministry of Finance?
Yes, Miriam, on that note, I think I agree strongly with Dr. Matsanga that the government has to cut short on expenditure being made on these ministerial posts, and even other posts like this cabinet assistant secretaries. These are people who are in one way or another are doing who are doing jobs that are meant for the CSs. So to some extent, they are redundant in these ministries. These are people who should not be holding these offices at this moment, when we are having a restraint in terms of meeting our budget. And of course, other measures that can be taken into position by the government is a structural transformation of the economy. So the government, of course, has to project how the economy will achieve the minimum growth, and thereafter how to expand it in the medium term. So these can only be achieved through the continued implementation of policies and programs under the medium term plan. Of course, economists know what that means, and of course, it has to be operationalized by the Big Four agenda, and of course to accelerate the economic growth. So we have to create opportunities for productive jobs, and also reduce poverty and income inequality, and provide better future for all Kenyans. So this can only be done by setting up those preconditions for other companies to come into the country, so that they can generate both revenue and incomes for our people. And also, when you look at the Big Four agenda projects, these are projects that are going to ensure that our young people have jobs. The normal Kenyan have a shelter under they have a roof under their head, over their heads, and that is just one way of making that life is cheaper. And when life is cheaper, of course, people will have an extra coin in their pockets. And when people have an extra coin in their pockets, then the government does not have to spend more in terms of spending on healthcare, education, and all other social necessities that the citizens might need. So that is where it has to start also, Miriam, checking the structure of the economy.
All right, thank you there. So you see on the front pages of the Standard newspaper, what's in the budget briefcase, and down there they said nightmare, coronavirus, lost jobs, empty coffers, shrinking revenues, huge debt, finding GERBs, all combined to give Treasury CS Ukur Yatani a headache as he reads his first budget today. And we've seen previously him coming out and saying, even the money that is being directed into the counties to support devolution will be affected, and important services there. Of course, there has been reports that have come out through audits that have been done before that even has shown that money, or developmental money in the counties, is allocated minimal. They don't. A lot of the money that is given to the counties goes to a huge number of it paying for salaries there and wages there. So if the monies, will be reduced as it is, the counties are still crying for more money. So because of COVID-19, because a huge chunk of the money right now by the government is being directed to fight COVID-19, and that will continue to do. And I think that will be featured and factored into the 2020-2021 budget that is set to be read this afternoon. How will this now affect the running of our counties? And will we see governors coming out and saying devolution is under threat?
I don't think so, Miriam, because when you look at the counties, they've been getting money from the national government in order to foster development in the grassroots. But when you look critically at the reports that have been coming from the Office of the Auditor General, in regards to the counties, very little has been going on the ground, and a lot of money has been either embezzled or maybe misappropriated in these counties. So to me, it doesn't make sense right now, even if they will not be receiving so much money. After all, this money has not been been used to do more development projects in the backyards. So probably now with the COVID pandemic, the national government spending directly the money to fighting the pandemic, I think it's now directed to more better use than it would have been. Because when you look at the counties, if they were to get the money, then trust me, maybe perhaps 10 out of 47 counties would have utilized the money for good purposes. But the rest of the counties, it's all sad stories of squander and embezzlement. So from my opinion, I think nothing much will be affected in the grassroots level.
All right, and we see how a number of sectors will be affected and a number of offices there that will lose. And on the Daily Nation, the Standard on page 2 there we're looking at the gainers, and that is the Office of the Presidency, Crop Development and Agricultural Research also will gain there some rise, and health, water, sanitation, TSC, tourism, developmental of ASOL, early learning, infrastructure, NIS, treasury, PSC, fisheries, aquaculture and blue economy, EACC, county governments, equitable share of the revenue raised nationally. So these are just some of the gainers. So just reading from that list, did they pick the right sectors in the country right now? Because right now it's a small pie that they're trying to divide, and the others who, of course, will lose. And I will read them. That includes transport and all that, and planning and county governments, also interior, defense, energy, university education, foreign affairs, youth, devolution, parliament. They'll all lose in this year's compared to what they got on the financial year 2019-2020. But that will be reduced in this 2020-2021 financial year. And so the gainers there are presidency, crop, development, tourism, developmental, early, all that I've read. Have they, had the right pick, treasury there, to ensure that these are the premium, or these are the important sectors or offices that we continue to support as it is right now?
Yeah, Miriam, I think in every writer, there are the key sectors that need to get a bigger chunk of the budget allocation. And of course, when you look at the sectors mentioned, there are like sectors like education, health, and also not forgetting sectors that really stimulate our economic growth. And of course, you understand that one of the best ways to reduce budget deficit in percentage of GDP is to promote economic growth. And if the economy grows, Miriam, then the government will increase tax revenue without raising taxes. And this comes with a great relief to the taxpayer. So when the government invests in such sectors that help in economic growth, then people have no reason to pay more taxes. So, of course, the companies that will come up due to this economic growth will pay the more taxes. These are taxes on profits. So, and workers may pay more income tax as well because of the increased salaries and all that. So, high economic growth sectors should be the main center of concentration. And I think the government is doing that quite well.
All right, and we saw one of the offices there, or the sector that is meant to lose in this year's budget is the judiciary. They're already complaining of not getting enough money. So if we are reduced, the money is for their 2020-2021 fiscal year. How, I mean, Maraga, we are looking forward to Maraga having a lot of press conferences in the future, are we not?
Which Maraga?
Maraga, the Chief Justice. He has already complained a lot of times that the judiciary is not well funded. So now we see it's the judiciary, parliament. A lot of other important, offices have also lost in terms of the funding there. But you've seen categorically, Maraga has been up in arms, saying we don't have enough money. So reducing even that further, we're not expecting Maraga to be coming out and addressing the media every now and then.
Has he gotten his Mercedes, Miriam?
Maraga is in chaos. Breaking news. You haven't seen. While you are on there, I always get them fast. A petition, breaking news now. A petition to remove David Maraga has been filed by Timothy Odiambo to the Judicial Service Commission, stating misconduct, temperamental, so many things there, violation of ethics. So Maraga might not be there.
All right, but just for the next Maraga.
Yes.
Yes, because
the next Maraga might not have press conferences.
But will they
we need a judge.
Again?
We need a judge who can give the court respect. That's why I'm coming to shoulder you on this question of, we are talking about all these cuts. Let's leave Maraga issue away. We are talking
just
about
judiciary as a whole. They've been complaining about not lack of funds. So
yes,
yeah,
Miriam, we are talking about all this, and there is a very serious element in economics, that is human capital. Are people convinced that we are going to have tighter belts, or we shall just ambush them like we ambushed them on Corona? So one of the things that Mr. Eku Etan should do is to leave some money for sensitization of his budget. Kenyans need to be told now in advance that in 6 months to come, traveling to Nigeria will not be the same way. You see, I want you to pick, I don't know, one of you will discover what I'm talking about.
I'm really trying hard to follow, but continue.
You will follow?
Yes, yes.
Follow. It is going to be difficult if you don't sensitize these Kenyans. Tell them, price ya unga itakuwa kali. One of the problems that spark a conflict is when all of a sudden you are now not telling them today in the afternoon. You will therefore, around sometime after 3 months, you bring in another announcement, increment. You have seen how drivers for fuel react when you increase fuel abruptly. In Britain, a budget, the Chancellor tells us this. This year, the fuel prices will be high. In the March, we expect the Minister of Finance who should have done what we call forecast. Is that the proper way, Miriam, you English people? Forecast.
Actually, even economically, Doc.
No, I don't know English way. You people are English people.
Doctor, you lived in England, so you're not getting away with that. You've lived where the English came from for 34 years.
And you know, Miriam.
So you're more English
Miriam,
than us. Yes.
I'm just puzzled
of a person who sees far.
Yes, focused.
Yes, mtu ameona. Huko Minister of Finance ameona budget, anaona how Britain will stand 20 years from COVID-19. You can wake him from the grave to come and read you a budget. Atakwambia 2034, Britain will have 2,000 bags in security safe go downs in case hunger will be there. Does our minister do that?
So they're able to give projections that are...
You have brought the good one. Project. If you ask Ekuru Etan.
Dr. Ekuru is... Ekur, no, it's not Ekuru.
Ekuru Tan.
Ekuru Yatani. He's reading his first budget, so we can't really judge him until he tells us what he has. We can't judge his ability to project. So let's just wait before we write him off. we give him a benefit of a doubt. All right?
Excuse me. Miriam.
Yes.
Miriam, my dear sister, one of the things why you appointed a Minister of Finance and economic planning. What is economic planning? You are planning for reverse or you are planning for the future. You must be able to have that brain. And the pattern, the models, the module. I saw a song talking about the module sometime yesterday. You know, for me, I don't forget it. You talked of the module, modeling. What you model the samples and see far. For example, these Kenyans, after coming out of COVID-19, haki ya Mungu, we increase another shilling on the maize flour. The budget must include cushion the government from an uprising. Miriam, you didn't see where I was going. If you bring a budget that is going to bring masses on the streets, because there are going to be a lot of hardships. Some products might not be available in the shops. Food might be scarce. Tanzania is starving us of their potatoes and onions and the cabbage and so on. Do we have enough? So the minister must plan for those contingency plans to shoulder, to cushion the population, sensitize them, Miriam. Usiwapigie, unawagonga. You know, sasa in those countries, when you win a Rotary, they take you before they give you the check for very serious counseling.
And we see in today's gainers that we're expecting, we see a crop development and agricultural research as part of the people who have been allocated, sectors who have been allocated, who gain in terms of the money that will be increased in the allocation, so that we have that. So he has it all in check, Doctor. He's thought about that.
Well, that's very good. I was on, because I'm not, you are the one who was in the notes there.
No, I'm just looking at the paper today, the Standard. I think you
I was thinking on the same level. That kuangukia watu unaanza kuwaupiga, unawapatia pesa bills, school fees zinaingia. What a jump. We don't want a government that is going to make people jump after post-corona. We don't want a policy that will bring an uprising. We have the Boniface Mangis. We have the Harvey. You saw what Harvey said yesterday on TV. Uliona what he said?
Yes.
Harvey is a product. He has created a Harvey Foundation. He has money coming in the foundation. And he was warning us. Those are warning shots. Warning you Kenyans. That rise up. Rise up. So when you rise up and you find the hunger is not in in the shop, Miriam. Hapa itakuwa mbaya.
I need to
So
get
the
price away.
cabinet,
So maybe I'll not be affected so much.
The Minister of Finance today must be careful not to injure the local population.
The basic commodities that Kenya really rely on.
Thank you. We have arrived there. But I was trying to bring you to see that cushion. Asante sana.
All right, thank you so much. And there's something we talked about here earlier, and the front pages there. And Daniel, you're not here. We talked about it earlier with the doctor, and perhaps we just need to revisit this. As we see there on the front pages, they're saying how budget cuts route to down to size, and the deputy president's budget will go 40% down. And you know, we've seen even Parliament has been affected, counties have been affected. So this is not a targeted, downsizing to the deputy president's office. Other offices have also been affected because of what we are facing right now as a country. The COVID-19 has just messed up the whole budget thing. So it's not just him who has been affected, but something there. When you look at how much money hospitality and supplies and services in the office of the president, the current budget is at 197.8 million Kenya shillings, and the new budget is 23,900 million, meaning that the DP's office, in terms of hospitality supplies, that think about it as tea, like that, will have a cut of 173.9 million Kenya shillings. And this is a conversation we've been having here. We had here in the morning. Why are we spending, even not just looking at the DP's office, but also other government offices, the public service? Why do we have to spend this much money to give tea and other hospitality services? We're spending the money that we don't even have. Could we not use this 173.9? This will go into something else this year, but can we revise how much money we are allocating in terms of hospitality in the government offices? Daniel, I don't know what you make of this.
Yes, I think this is something that Dr. Matsanga talked about in his opening remarks. Also improving on government's efficiency on expenditure, and that goes a long way from reducing the number of ministerial positions that we have, from doing away with some positions like the cabinet assistant secretaries, and now trickling down to expenditures like those spent on tea and mandazis in these offices. You visit any government office and you will meet a very unfortunate situation where people just sit, tell stories, and take tea at the end of the day, wait for lunchtime, take their lunch, and at 3 p.m. they walk away, go to their homes, and it's just lazing around and being in the comfort zone. So perhaps these are some of the leakages that might be costing the government budget to have such a bigger deficit. So if the government can find a way of reducing it, as it is anticipated that they're going to do it in this budget, then I think from my end it's a good move in ensuring that we don't spend on what we are not supposed to, and the money is channeled to the right platforms where Kenyans need services, where Kenyans need these projects.
All right, and you see other winners that will receive allocations in the 2020-2021 budget is the Nairobi Metropolitan Services. First of all, I've not been to the other side of the CBD, because usually, with the curfew, you just get to town, get what you want from the supermarket, go home. You don't spend a lot of time walking around. So last Saturday, I had an opportunity to go to the other side of the CBD, and the work that is being done, I think, is quite commendable by the Nairobi Metropolitan Services. A few months ago, you drive through, the CBD and you find potholes. You're thinking, what? Why are we having potholes in Nairobi CBD? It was not making sense at all. So they're doing that. They're doing a lot of infrastructure improvement in the roads there, and also in the pathways. It's quite really nice. And they've fenced that park. That Michuki. You remember the recreational park there around Global? They've fenced it, and so now it's looking it looks very nice. And so I would understand why it has been allocated about 28.4 billion Kenya shillings for a facelifting. Basically, in Nairobi, we need it. We don't want to see potholes in the CBD. That does not make sense at all. But
Yes,
yeah.
and,
So is that
and,
28.4 billion warranted for the Nairobi Metropolitan Services?
Absolutely, Miriam. Just look at the incredible work they have done in a span of a month. Just walk when you walk at along Kenyatta Avenue. There are some well done pavements there. When you walk in other parts of the city, like in Upper Hill, and also they have gone even into the remote city hoods. When you go to parts like Donholm, when you go to Buruburu, Kilimani, they are doing these security lights all over the city, and their work is very, very commendable. Something that was lacking from the previous leadership of Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko. So, of course,
even
they have shown that
Kidero, even just starting with Kidero and Mbuvi, they left.
Yes.
They let this county down. They did not do their best in terms of years.
Yes, I think I agree with you. Nairobi has been in such a neglect for quite some time, maybe perhaps a decade or more. And I think Nairobi Metropolitan Service under General Badi brought a new life to the city. And it's our greatest hope that they're gonna rejuvenate the lost glory that the city had. And of course, the president is very, very keen on this. We saw the other day, together with the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, inspecting some of these projects in the middle of the night. So, of course, there's light at the end of the tunnel with that, and pumping in such an amount of money gives it a new boost, and we hope now that the results are going to show for themselves.
All right, Doctor. Before we leave this much of the budget cuts there, we've seen the Deputy's President, what do you call it? Domestic travel and subsistence, and also foreign travel and substances. The budget has been cut for domestic 96.8 million, and for foreign 56 million has been cut from the next fiscal year. Will this affect? With the huge budget cut, will this affect his local and international travel? We know our Deputy President has been very busy, especially before the COVID-19, just traveling across the country and launching projects. Doctor, will this affect DP's projects and the travels?
Projects are assigned.
The launching of the projects he's been doing.
Yeah, they are assigned by the president. So if the president has not directed you where to go, why do you open up your mouth and eyes and start running around? Stay home and work with the president within the president. When he says, tomorrow I want you, I'm not able, go and supervise the projects and be representing me. You simply go there to read the speech, sit down, and they come back. You don't need to carry money. But why this money was given before, misused, is part of it is drawn as allowances by the entourage who go there and hammer things. They book the whole town. If they reach Busia, the whole town is booked. Inua Mama, Nani, wote wako huko. That group, they all come. They use, you have forgotten, they use the money.
Yes.
You see? They use the money, which has been coming from the budget. So now that is discipline, fiscal discipline. Okay.
So according to the Daily Nation, they said the deputy president has been moving around the country launching and inspecting projects, but this has been seen as a cover to drum up support for his presidential bid, which I think is not an open secret. So he's been using this opportunity while going around the country to launch and to inspect projects to drum up his 2022 presidential bid. So this, I don't know if it has advised anything and this decision to cut down on that.
Medium, east or west, you want to take one advice and keep it in the cupboard. We go to another topic.
Yes.
We wait until 2 p.m.
Yes.
when this man reads this thing, and we comment later on. I don't know what time he will finish. Miriam, let me tell you, take this advice from me. If you shock people in this post-COVID with other hidden agenda, you are putting them on the streets, which county officials are laying bricks. You are actually making the good place for them to walk on. There will be very many. Don't do a budget. My advice as a business, as a person who has seen chaos, how it springs from essential commodities. You know, at the moment, the industry is not producing. Let's not talk like Mr. Itumbe, who does not know where the stock exchange, where Eurobond was sold. I don't want to go into those complications of behaving as if I know what a Eurobond is. I know, but if I don't know, I tell people the truth. The biggest element in all this, take it home, and it is going to come are the people. If you have not sensitized them early enough, don't put anything hidden in this budget. That's my point I'm trying to make. Tell them exactly and allow the counties. Usually the trouble comes from counties. Counties always come to carry money from the central bank. But where does this money go? Where is accountability? Some governors return money. How do you return money when there is a bridge there's one bridge that has been killing Kenyans in Wesonga's County? What is that bridge called?
Sigiri Bridge. But right now, I think it was fixed by the national government.
There is a bridge that is still there where that woman said, Sirikari Saidia.
Oh, that is somewhere, I think, in Hero.
Yeah,
that is in Kisumu.
That is in Kisumu.
No! There is a bridge in Namwamba's place, which they put up money using then the water came and the safety. You don't know even your own area.
I remember that. I remember that story. Yeah, that bridge. I'm just forgetting its name. But for the lady,
in that Namwamba's place, there is a bridge there which has been milking Kenya's money every year. So if that is the one you are saying, it's Guinea, just been fixed. God help us. And there's that bridge when the woman was saying, Saidia Sikari, Saidia Niko Ubaya.
That is from Kano in Kisumu, that lady. I know her. It's from Kisumu, it's Kano. A place there, around there.
We have many of those Sikaris idea. And you add there more problems on them. Jamen.
All right, so since right now we're just speaking on speculation, we really don't know what is contained in that budget. We're just looking at an overview and some information that we got from the Treasury, website there. So let's just wait and see what Yatani will bring to Kenyans, and then tomorrow we can have a comprehensive look at the budget. So as we speak, as I mentioned earlier, Uganda also today, I think, is reading its budget, and Africa's second biggest coffee grower has been forced to increase its planned budget by 12%, an earlier proposal of 45 billion shillings, that is Ugandan shillings, that translates to 12.1 billion US dollars. The budget deficit would widen to 7.9 of GDP from 7.7 as the pandemic decimates tourism earnings this year. And of course, the Uganda lawmakers, they have approved 12% increase for the 2020-2021 spending plans. And Rwanda, the country's expenditure will total 3.245 trillion francs. That is equivalent to 3.4 $2 billion US dollars, with a targeted spending to support small and mid-sized companies, recapitalize the Development Bank of Rwanda, and backing for state-owned carrier Rwanda Air, which has parked jets in response to the travel bans. And in Tanzania, the budget is expected to be at 15.2 billion US dollars. President John Magufuli has downplayed the existence of the COVID-19, and his government does not anticipate a big jump in financing needs. So Tanzania, nothing much has changed there. Magufuli is saying, you know what, as we're doing just fine. And Burundi, which is in mourning right now, Parliament in Burundi voted overwhelmingly to pass a budget worth this is 1,576 billion Burundi francs, which equates to 834 million US dollars to be spent in the fiscal year 2020-2021. That's a lot of money for Burundi. It's a small country when you think about it. And so we're waiting. And of course, planned expenditure for Ethiopia, region's most populous nation, will grow by nearly a quarter, 476 billion birr. But we're not sure if they're also reading their budget today. So that is just in a nutshell what we're expecting from the different East African countries today, who are expected to read their budget also the same time Kenya will be reading its budget today. So thank you so much. Doctor, do you have any final words before we...
My final word is sensitize the public.
On what?
On everything. On this budget. Sensitize them. You know, at the moment they are wounded. They are in corona, depression, hunger is coming in, floods are coming. Some things are many. So people need to be sensitized. If you don't sensitize them, Miriam, we are bound to have a disaster. All right. People have what we call pre-fever. It's like you ladies go to prenatal centers before you give birth. They teach you how it will be painful. Have we been taught how it will be painful?
There are epidurals nowadays. You don't have to go through the pain if you...
No, those days used to be.
Epidurals.
My mother produced me
in pain
in the 50s. So where the doctors were very special.
Yes, and they know epidural.
She has to come for lessons.
Yeah.
Lessons on how the pain will be. So here you are. People here now at the moment, Miriam, need those lessons.
Yes.
My sister, they need it. We need to tell Kenyans, the president needs to tell Kenyans. The president needs to tell Kenyans that there will be tightening the ropes, tighten it.
But we were cautioned anyway. President Uhuru Kenyatta, 2 weeks into COVID-19 in this country, he said, you know what?
Have they not been cautioned that corona is very bad? But haven't you heard them? Some of them said, well, let's see the picture.
We were cautioned about tough economic times ahead. So.
The corona is worse. It's the corona. But some Kenyans are saying, let a patient moja tumuone. And those are the ones who are going to make noise and say, come on the street.
Yes.
Hii Uhuru ameiba pesa zetu.
True.
That's it. That, Miriam, sindio, you are here. You and I were here. We shall come back on this show to talk about it. Yet tomorrow only, by Monday, you will see the reactions.
Yeah, because the budget, after reading, has to go through Parliament and it has to be debated in Parliament. So let's wait and hear even what our parliamentarians there will say about it. All right, Daniel, your last
I
word.
think I'll just reiterate whatever Dr. Matsanga has talked about. And of course, I want to commend him. Much puzzled that he has a very good grasp of economic matters. And I'll pat on his back for that. And from that note, I think the government must also increase human resource planning and management. Of course, Dr. Matsanga has talked about physical responsibility in the counties and all other government offices where government is spending on some unnecessary expenditures like buying tea, paying people who are doing redundant duties. So these matters of physical discipline and wasteful expenditure must be reduced. And lastly, on what he has just mentioned, of course, he has talked about it in-depthly, is the issue of sensitization. So the ministry has to make sure that Kenyans are not interpreted for the budget by other people who are hell-bent in fighting the government agenda. Because you understand, without sensitization, without telling people that because of corona pandemic, things are difficult all over the world, and the Kenyan economy is no exception, then when the likes of Harvey, the likes of Boniface Mwangi find this budget, they will interpret it in a way that only features their selfish interest and incite Kenyans against the government, when the truth of the matter is that the global economy is at a crisis, and so is Kenyan economy too.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Yes, and thank you so much, Daniel. We thank you for joining us. So we'll see you in a short for Diaspora Dispatches. So don't go too far. Thank you so much for watching.
Have a good afternoon, Miriam.
The Modia, please. Mimi na